This specific AI method is allowing me to generate over $10,000 a month just from specific AI designs. And we have so many different ways of making designs. This one is utilizing ChatGPT, which without a doubt is the best AI tool out there. The only thing that has come close is the new Nano Banana Pro, and I'll be making a separate video on that. But for now, I want to show you how I have personally used ChatGPT and the specific prompting that I have used to create designs that have been able to turn into 5- and 6-figure designs. ChatGPT is now faster and more accurate and much better for producing print-on-demand ready designs, but you still have to prompt it correctly. I still see a lot of bad designs come out of ChatGPT, and people tend to say, well, I used ChatGPT, it should be good. Well, actually, no. The model is there for you to use, but you still need to know how to use it. The same with anything. Imagine you have a really good drill, right? You could have the best drill on the market, but if you don't know how to put a hole in that wall without hitting a wire, you're going to kill yourself, right? You still need to know basic DIY to be able to use those drills. So the same with AI, the same with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is giving you what you need, but you still need to know how to use it to actually get good results. Here's an example prompt. 50s retro vintage style. I'm not going to read it, but there's your example prompt. And this is one method that we've used where we give a nice detailed prompt and we're able to create an almost finished design. Really, really, really cool, right? Now, let's try a new prompt, but this time we'll tell GPT to remove the background because you can see there is a background there. Typically, what we would do is we would download this, upload it into My Designs or Affinity or something, and have that background removed. But if we said, and we just added over here, remove background as a PNG with transparent background, it does it, right? Now, what you can see is it's actually made a very different design. So if we prefer this design, I would just go back and use that. So here it's done it, but it has messed up the word could, right? So the bottom text wasn't quite right. So we can fix it just by asking ChatGPT to fix it, right? So please fix the text so it's accurate. And now it fixes that text. Really, really cool. Now, another thing we can do is actually fix the text ourselves. So text is the easiest thing to fix ourselves. So if the GPT isn't doing the text well for whatever reason, we can add that ourselves in Canva, in Affinity, in Photoshop, in Kittle, in whatever app you want to use. So this text is actually separated from this graphic. ChatGPT made this graphic, we made this text, and we just spliced them together. So using AI to recreate winning designs. This is the method that I'm using every single day to not only just create winning designs, but to create world-class, best-selling designs that have generated me over $100,000. It's absolutely crazy, and it shows the power of what AI can do. So with this prompt, which I've kept for people in my community. If you're not in my print-on-demand community, I highly recommend getting in. It's currently 50% off until Black Friday, which is the 28th of November. But it's truly incredible. With a very, very simple and short prompt, we're able to use this exact style and recreate it for an entirely different niche. You can see how the style is almost identical, but it's different, right? So my arm is in a cast. I'm all booked up, right? Can't work today, can't work today. That same kind of grunge, the same kind of graphic, but obviously it's someone reading. That style, this style that's got thousands of sales, can now be recreated for our niche. It's a really, really cool method. It's literally a method where you find incredible designs and you use those designs as the foundations to create your own designs. It saves so much time. Something like this took less than 20 seconds. Now imagine doing that 10 times a day. You're going to have so many designs and it's going to take you a few minutes. Now, of course, it can be harder with more complicated designs. This is a very simple design. There's one color, right? So I want to be completely transparent with you. This method works, but as we get more complex with the design, it starts to it doesn't work as well as we hope. There's a couple of tweaks and changes that we have to do. So here's an example. This is a retro sunset background. As we can see, there's multiple colors. There's 3 lines of text. There's a specific relevant graphic of this cat being a bit like, stuck up. And, as I said, the cat expression. So this is a very, very specific design with holding a coffee cup. So this design could take quite a little bit more effort to create. A little bit more than the 20 seconds that the previous design took. So using ChatGPT 5.1, we have a very, very simple prompt. Again, this prompt is for community members. And with that prompt, we were able to create this design, right? I like golf and coffee and maybe 3 people. This is pretty darn good, right? If we have a look at the original, it's a very, very similar style graphic. I actually like that they've used this color for the text. It's close to this color. I'd actually make it exactly the same color, but that's besides the point. It's done the fingers okay, it's done the hand okay, the head okay. The thing is, the coffee cup is a little bit random. Like, there's just a floating coffee cup there. And whilst that's okay, and I wouldn't like be so opposed to it, I think we could make it better. But from a design standpoint, you can see how it's just done it very, very well. So we then can put in a detailed prompt, because this prompt is a very simple prompt. And with a detailed prompt, we come up with slightly different results. And I'm actually not a fan of this one, because again, you've now got this random piece there, you've got the coffee mug there, which is random, you've got all of this negative space there, and maybe 3 people is absolutely tiny, and you don't need a full golfer. You could cut him off over there. That would be absolutely fine. You don't need his legs as well. So the detailed prompt didn't work. And this is me trying to show you how, even if you're using the right AI, if you don't prompt it exactly how it needs to be prompted, the results you get are simply not going to be good enough. So if we use ChatGPT 5.1 thinking, so you can see over here we've got thinking, right? And we put a simple prompt in, we start to get slightly better results. So this is similar to the first one, except there's no coffee mug over there. You've got a lot of empty space there and a lot of empty space there, but it does kind of work. And then if we put the detailed prompt in, again, very, very similar. If we have a look, it's really taken that grunge, it's taken that graphic, it's messed this up. This should be on 1 line. But what you could also do is just put 3 people over here and split that up into 2 lines if you wanted to. You don't have to use this styling exactly. We're just using this styling to help us, right? We don't need to copy it exactly if we don't want to. So with the ChatGPT 5.1 thinking model, both simple and detailed prompts perform pretty well, if not better than the normal model. So that's always useful to know that their thinking model is very, very good. And the best part about ChatGPT that almost no other AI tool can do, and I know I say no other, but almost no other, because Nano Banana Pro, Nano Banana can do this, is you can actually chat with your design. So you can say, change this, change that, fix this, fix that. And until recently, ChatGPT was the only tool that can do this. Now Nano Banana can do it, and as I said, Nano Banana is also really, really good and powerful. And when I've done testing that, and we've made tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars with that AI, with the Nano Banana, then I'll make another video on that. But for now, my main focus is ChatGPT, because it's what I've been using. No other AI tool allows you to chat with your image, right? And that's what's really, really cool. You're not chatting with AI anymore. As soon as it produces an image, you're chatting with the image, right? So over here, and make 3 people on 1 line. So it's kind of done that, but it's made a mistake with Pepe. Don't know what Pepe is, right? And then add the stuck up intentional expression. So you can see that done that for you. Perfect. So it's gone from no expression to that stuck up expression. And for some reason, it's also fixed the 3 people. So AI will always do random things. But as well as that, it's also added a golf club just being sticking out of his head over there. Not sure why, right? So then we can ask it, now one hand should be holding the golf club, resting on the shoulder, and the other hand holding the coffee. So we've been a little bit more specific, and you see it's done that perfectly. This, in my opinion, is a really perfect design. Right, the only thing I would probably do is add grunge to the whole thing. But you can see in terms of the graphic, it's just really, really good. In terms of the text, it's really good. I would match this color to the text over there just to make it a little bit better, a little bit more cohesive. But it's really, really good. Sometimes it creates random stuff where it thinks it's giving us what we want, but it isn't sure. For example, 3 Pepe. Or here, it's just a golf club sticking out of his head. Or a random coffee mug, or another random coffee mug. So sometimes it just creates these elements that it thinks is good, but it's not. And this is where you have to look at it and think objectively, that is bad, I'm going to fix that. Versus looking at it and thinking, oh, because AI made it, it's got to be good. Now, there's a few ways to get around these mistakes, but bear in mind, it will probably randomly always make them. You could try creatively prompting, right? And this time, the graphic prompt was much more specific. So again, we put a very, very specific prompt in with the thinking method, and it did it. I like golf and coffee and maybe 3 people. So you can see first time it got it right. I'm not the biggest fan of this style of graphic, and the and coffee should be bigger over here. So there's a couple of changes that I would want it to fix, and I don't mind fixing those kind of things myself as well, but it's done a very, very good job. We can then ask it to make it slightly more cartoon, which it has, right? It's gone from this kind of clip arty style to this more Disney looking cartoon style. Now, both kind of work with this graphic, but I'll be honest, I'm still the biggest fan of this one. I think this one is the best one we've got. Before, the prompt was more general, and that's when ChatGPT tries to guess what you want and creates weird extra stuff. So here, even though I'm a fan of the previous person, we can see it's not creating anything odd. It's holding the coffee mug, right? Even though he's got 3 fingers, it's holding the coffee mug, right? Holding the coffee mug, again, 3 fingers. You might have to just fix that, right? And it's holding the golf club. It's all making sense. It's not throwing in random objects all over the place, and that's because we've been a little bit more specific. And then we could just build the graphic. So if we just focus on the graphic, and here again, for some reason ChatGPT love 4 fingers on one hand, 3 fingers on the other hand. But when you just build the graphic, you actually end up with a very good result. Obviously, you've got the golf club over here that's in the wrong place. You'd probably want it to be over there to match the line. But from a graphic perspective, this is probably my favorite style of person, right? It's a little bit different to this, a little bit different to this, and a little bit different to this. But I think it just works really nicely on a t-shirt. Then I thought, why not try and use that exact same cat, but just ask it to relate more to golf. So again, with the prompt that we used, we changed the cat to hold the golf club and to hold the coffee mug. The only difference I would do here is I'd want the handle of the coffee mug to be here, which is a very, very easy fix if we wanted to do that, or we could just ask it to swap it around. But then what I did was quite cool. So I used this exact cat version, right, which is this specific style, this kind of thing, and I said, now make it a golfing person. So you can see how these two are almost identical. The same style, the same concept, the same idea. This also fixed the handle for the coffee mug. Again, he's still got 3 fingers, but that's a very easy fix. And it just is this exact style, right? The same kind of thickness, if you have a look at the thickness, right? The coloring is obviously different because one's a cat, one's a person, but it's very, very spot on. It's even done the scarf the same. And that's just another cool way of getting this exact kind of graphic, this exact kind of style, and putting it on the retro sunset. So now what we would do is we would just put this person on a retro sunset. You could also do text only prompts. And this is where we don't give it a graphic or an image or a design for it to learn from. Instead, we give it a very detailed, specific text only prompt to get it to create something for us. So like we saw with the gardening, how else could I hide the bodies? We use this very specific this very specific prompt to create this design, right? And it works really well. We can do the same thing. So sometimes it has trouble with advanced graphics, specifically placement of human body parts. So this one, I guess it's okay, but when you're not using a reference image, ChatGPT can be a little bit experimental with where it places body parts. Now this one was really cool. So again, we use that same 50s retro style that we use here, except this time we used it for the golf. And it's done a fantastic job. The one thing it's done wrong is it's put the golf club over there, right, for some reason. And even when we try to fix it, which we did over here, it's done the same thing. It's kept it over there. Don't know why, right? So what I would say is, and this is, try and stick to this if you can. When you are speaking to ChatGPT, don't speak to it for too long. So if you ask it for a design and it creates you something and you want to tweak it, fine. You know, here's your message, here's the design, here's your message to tweak, here's the design, right? Let's just imagine that's the conversation. If it makes a mistake, ask it to fix it, and then it does it. At this point, I would stop. Right? Don't then continue the conversation and keep asking to fix this, fix that, make these little changes, make those little changes. What I would then go and do instead is take the latest iteration, start a new chat, and then ask all the changes from the beginning. So then you started a new chat, so you've got the image and what you've asked it to do, and it will give you a result. Then you can ask it to make a change and it will give you a result. The reason why I like to start a new chat is because what I find is when I'm speaking to ChatGPT for too long on a single chat, its memory will produce all sorts of weird results. So what I end up doing is trying to fix things and claw my way back and say, no, do what you did before. and it just can go crazy. And it's much easier to just start again, but from where we're up to. So I would start a new chat, which would be, a new fresh ChatGPT, and ask it to do the thing again with the latest images. Or if it hasn't got to the point where it's given us a decent image, that we can then go and use, I will just start again with the original image, the original prompt. Maybe I'll tweak a couple things with the prompt and fine tune it, and then just start again like that. Do not spend more than 3 minutes talking to ChatGPT on a singular design. If you are talking to ChatGPT for that long, you should probably have started over. So use that as a good reference point, right? Don't speak for hours on end trying to get the perfect right design and this and that and all the other. It just isn't worth the time. It's easier to start over or to download the design and fix it yourself in a program, whatever that program is. So we then tried another specific phrase, and you can see the phrase that we used here, right? If you want to copy this, take a screenshot, whatever. And it produced what I think is actually the best design that we've got. I really like the font they've used. I really like that they've matched the font with the person, the color of the person. I really like this. The only thing I might do is spread out the retro sunset so it's like a perfect rectangle, but I think it's brilliant. And you can see how specific I was with this prompting, right? I was so specific to the point where I wanted him to, do the top hat, and I wanted him to hold a coffee, and I wanted his golf clubs be over his shoulder, and it's produced a really fantastic design. And here's the annoying thing when it comes to ChatGPT. The more complex or specific your graphic request is, the more confused ChatGPT can get, and then it really starts to struggle. But if you're more open and vague, it also gets it wrong because it's just not sure what you want. There's a really fine line between getting it to produce the exact perfect results, which is why so many people struggle with using AI. Right, because there's just a very fine line. So if you're using a graphic and then text and asking it to learn from that graphic, you want to go more simple. You want to go much more simple, almost no changes. You want to just say, use the style from the graphic, right? You want the graphic to do the talking. If you're not using a graphic and you're just going down the text only route, you want to go a little bit more complex. But again, not too complex where you're making ChatGPT overwork, right? So here's another one. This is really, really good as well. And the only problem is the way he's holding the golf club, although it's kind of funny because it looks like he wants to whack you over the head with it, which works towards this whole thing. So this, in my opinion, is a perfect design. This one could work. This design could work. This is not in the golfing niche, but this design could work. I think up here, we had another one. This design could work. So we've got a lot of designs that could work really, really well here. And all of them were with various prompts. So there's not one prompt that's going to work. There's lots of different prompts that are going to work. You just have to kind of test, try out different prompts. You could follow the prompts that we're giving in the community if you want, but you have to find a balance for yourself and your designs. So there's a balance between too simple, it doesn't know what you want, so it makes things up, versus too complex, which is too much information and it gets confused. You need a well-balanced design. Now, some designs are more complicated, so you need to simplify your requests. Or if there's a design that's way too complicated, try and give it reference, right? Give it a reference image, a reference doodle, a reference something, right? Now, other designs are more simple, so you can explain it in more detail so it understands what you want. It's kind of like backwards in a way. If a design is really simple, you can be more complex with your prompting because it's a simple design. And if a design is more complex, you want to be more simple with your prompting so that it understands it. Now, AI as a junior designer. One of our members, Aaron, has used our training to earn over 200K in revenue from his print-on-demand business. And he describes AI in this exact way, using it as a junior designer, right? AI isn't a magic weapon. It's just a handy assistant. You still have to be the creative mind behind good prompts, good output, and final edits and changes. And obviously just understanding the foundation and the fundamentals, I should say, of what makes a good design. You are the one who decides, that's good, I'm going to sell that, not the AI. So don't look at the AI, don't get the AI to produce results and think, I don't know if that's good, but because the AI made it, it must be. That's not good. We don't want to be doing that. We want to get a result from the AI and think to ourselves, is this good enough, yes or no? Most people create a lot of crap with AI, then they try to sell it thinking it's going to work. You still need to create good designs, and AI doesn't really know what that means. We can train it as much as possible. We can put the red flags checklist in there that we give away in the community, right? There's various things that we can do, but at the end of the day, it isn't a human, right? It's not going to know. Real design feedback is required and can really, really help. So Aaron is now a coach in the Design Hub along with myself and 500 members in there. And you can get plenty of feedback so that you're designing in the right direction. This video is just a small snippet of what is in the community. This is without a doubt the best community. And I've recently changed it. I've undergone a huge improvement. I've built a 90-day playbook to help you build a successful print-on-demand brand. It's the most structured training on the planet for print-on-demand, and it literally takes you day by day, giving you all the necessary information, all the resources, whether it's videos, text, downloads, templates, whatever it is, it gives it to you every single day at the perfect time. So on day 5, I'm not going to start giving you ad templates. That's going to be confusing. You don't need ad templates then, right? But when you are ready for ad templates, they will be there waiting for you. And that's what's so cool. And this avoids any chance of feeling overwhelmed with this business, and it allows me to go deeper into each topic. So today's video is how I create 5 figures using AI. That barely scratches the surface of what there is to teach when it comes to creating best-selling designs. And this video relates to day 9 of the 90-day playbook. So if you want full access to all 90 days, plus the rest of the community, the live calls, the feedback, myself, and all the classrooms and the training that comes after the 90 days, because we don't stop there, we take you well into 6 figures, then click the link down below and check it out. As I said earlier, the community is currently 50% off. On November the 28th, it's going to be doubling in price, as you can see, right? And I want you to be able to lock in at this low price. So if you join today at the low price of $49, then you are in at that price. You will never be charged more. No matter how many times we raise the price, you will never be charged more. So if you're interested in building a successful print-on-demand business with my help, with this structured approach, and with the entire community at your back, then click the link down below. It's in the description and it will take you to the community, and hopefully I'll see you in there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped, and I hope this helped you, create more intentional designs with AI.